video. Today we're going live and we will be talking about Sun transit in Gemini, 13 degrees, full moon in Sagittarius. So, with that being said, let's try to jump into this video. Alright. In my videos, I like breaking down explanations of the sign and, of course, the sign and the transit, everything. I like breaking down the meaning. I like doing all that. So I will be breaking down the sign. I will be breaking down the transit meaning, and I will be breaking down the aspect. All right. So, what is Sun in Gemini? Sun in Gemini is when the Sun is at a certain degree in a sign of Gemini to where it is entering into Gemini, to where it is going forward motion into the another sign, which is Gemini in general. All right. So Sun in Gemini. Sun is the light, your light bearer, your soul, your soul's expression. Sun in Gemini is everything. Okay. Well, not Sun in Gemini, but the Sun is everything as far as astrology. Sun is your birth. Sun is your power. Sun is your alignment. Sun is your acknowledgement. Sun is your knowledge. Sun is your intellectual being. And Sun is also the placement for your children, how they will look, your children, bone structure, how many children you will have, can you conceive children, blah, 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 blah. That's what the Sun is, okay? Gemini is the third house of the zodiac sign. It represents communication, more so the outward spoken of communication, your written hand communication, your hands in general. It's also your neighborhood, your community. It's also your brother and sister. It's also your father's partner, if not your mother, your partner, your father's, other partner in that sense. Or it's also your father's jobs too, because it's opposite ninth house. Ninth house, which is Sagittarius. Sagittarius is of course your father. But let's keep it going. Gemini is also not just community, your thoughts. Gemini is technology. Gemini is all that. All right. What is Sagittarius? Sagittarius is knowledge. Sagittarius is schooling. Sagittarius is cultures. Sagittarius is adventures, storytellers. Also with Gemini, book writers. Sagittarius is the sign of fire. Gemini is the sign of air. These two signs, they are opposite one another all the time, every day, no matter what. It's the opposite sign. It's not going anywhere, okay? Opposition is just an aspect. An aspect is basically a coordination of how well and how far each planet is in the chart and how good they correlate with each other. How well do they get along if they are aspected? If they're 6 signs away, how far is it? How do they get along? Does that element even add up with that element? Does it even get right? So Sagittarius is also not just your adventures, your knowledge, your schooling, your expertise. It is also the sign of belief, religion, and also, of course, your teachers and professors. Because as we know, when we gain a certain type of particular knowledge, we have gotten it taught. Sagittarius is the teacher, okay? The teacher of the zodiac sign. All right. It is also one of the most powerful rulers, since it is the height or one of the highest points of the zodiac sign. Okay. So it is a full moon in Sagittarius today. Sagittarius is Jupiter. Jupiter is expansion. Gemini represents Mercury. Mercury is I would say not expansion, but I would say main representation, duality. Okay. Now, with that being said, a full moon in Sagittarius, what could this bring? What how would this affect? Uh how would this transit affect certain things, or how would this affect things in general in normal terms? Okay. So the moon is your emotion, the moon is your emotional intellect, it is also your subconscious mind. Okay. We can say Gemini is just the thoughts in your head that you normally think. But also, Gemini isn't just that. It's the thoughts you think of and you spurt out in a moment. Okay? Or it's the thoughts you think of, right? And you get ready to do. Yo, now Sagittarius, or wait, Moon is the same difference, but is intertwined in a sense of emotional caliber. Should this emotion stick in? Should this emotion be brought out? It is just a natural contation of how one could feel. That's what the moon is. How one could feel, and how could one gain that feeling? What do I feel in my subconscious? How could I how what could I say? Okay. Hi. All right. So moon is all about feelings. Moon is your mother. Moon is all these bright giving things. But the main thing of moon is about reciprocation or receiving. Okay. Gemini is about creativity and manifesting, just like Sagittarius. Okay. Just because the opposite sign is your opposite sign, don't mean you need it. And I mean that. All right. All these opposite signs out here. You think you don't need it? So if you are a Gemini, would you say that your thoughts need to know the acknowledgement of whatever it is type of information you receive? Yes, of course. So you can use that. You don't want to just think thoughts and not know the truth. You need to know if it's real or not. You need to know if this thought is believable. If this thought I can manifest into the light, into the brain of today's earth. Anyways, so we're going back to the topic of what is full moon in Sagittarius. Okay. Full moon in Sagittarius brings a light on your creativity. Okay. It brings a light onto your introspection of your whole entire mind. Okay. You will acknowledge every single type of thought you have today. It will become loud as day because it's true. Just because you think something is not true doesn't make it not true. And just because you're thinking something that is thought of, don't make it think that you don't know what you're thinking, because you do know what you're thinking. You know exactly what you know. Okay? And that's Sagittarius for you. All right. Full moon and Sagittarius will bring about, how could I be more free? Okay. How could I be more vibrant in this humanoid world, in this insane, sadistic entirety of a universe that doesn't make sense at all? Okay? How could I explore my knowledge into a deeper level? Okay? Sagittarius wants to bring the fire, but not just any type of fire, the fire of duality. Okay? The fire of belief could be stronger than logic. All right? Belief could be just as strong as a regular thought. 9 times out of 10, you think to yourself, if I think this thought, how much percentage is this true? Can humans really not fly? Can humans fly? How much is that true? If I found a way to do it, is it a folktale? Is it a myth? Not anymore. And that's the point of Sagittarius. Sagittarius is that big light bulb inside the room that doesn't run out of power, that doesn't run out of energy, that is stored for all types of calibers of knowledge, okay, that is being held. Maybe full moon in Sagittarius, you will be acquiring a skill that takes your mind to a different place that you never thought it could be. Maybe with full moon in Sagittarius, you consume a lot of different stuff that you may not but you may not even realize, that you may not even really need. Okay? Full moon in Sagittarius wants to bring in that what if, that big question mark. It wants to bring in that what if. All right. So whenever we're receiving information, right, we can say, "Oh, that's moon all day." We don't have to. We don't have to. That could be moon. That could be Mercury. That could be. That could be. That could be Jupiter too. You ever heard a story that someone tells you 2 to 3 times, 4 times, and you already know the story, or you already know how the story may end? All right. All these placements of planets is important. Moon in Sagittarius wants to bring in the inner dreams of what one could have freestyled just in general, and bring them out to fruition. Okay. Maybe you want to become a teacher, of teaching people how to code. Okay. Maybe you want to be a teacher of teaching people how to, I would say, uh, create their own webinars. Maybe you want to be a teacher of showing people how to become a professional chef, like Gordon Ramsay, or is that how you say his name? I'm not sure. Okay, but if I said it wrong, I apologize. But um, Moon in Sagittarius conceives, receives, I said conceives, receives a lot of information that is important to one's acknowledgement. Not knowledge, but acknowledgement. Because for one to acquire knowledge, one has to be acknowledged, meaning interested within that capacity to understand. See, everyone got this wrong conception of misunderstanding and understanding. When you understand something, why do you understand it? Because your mind is already capable of connecting to that information. And then as time goes on, as you think about things and it makes sense, that understandability becomes way more than just a portal of I think, or oh, I read. That knowledge, that acknowledgement that connects with one knowledge gains a lot of bonding. Okay? We don't understand things because we think we do. We understand things because it connects. It connects more than anything. When I understand things, I don't understand things because, oh, my brain is wired different. And that could be wired, it could be wired different for millions of people. And that's perfectly fine. Everyone is receiving knowledge or receiving information in a different capacity, in a different way, in a different teaching style. All these different ways of understanding is beautiful. All these other ways of receiving information is beautiful, because on the upper hand of receiving information and breaking it down over time, as you go in depth with this information, you start to gain knowledge. That's what you start to do. You start to gain knowledge. When you gain knowledge, that's why the saying knowledge is powerful. When you gain knowledge, it becomes an achievement. Jupiter Sagittarius is achievements, not only abundance, bigger, larger, marvelous, perfection. It becomes understanding. If one do not understand you, one will think of how to understand you. Think of ways of what they think of the understanding of you, or the thinking of understanding of what you can think of. It could all be a pigment of the imagination with Moon in Sagittarius, Sun in Gemini. Okay? Jupiter is imagination in general. That's why it is connected with Pisces. Pisces is imagination. Jupiter is too. I said Jupiter is too. Sagittarius is too. Because Jupiter is assigned to Sagittarius and Pisces. Okay? Jupiter is worldly knowledge, unworldly knowledge. That's why we got all these Bibles. That's why we got all these belief systems. Oh, what do you believe in? I believe in this. 10, 20 years later. What do you believe in now? I am now I'm 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 now Christianity. But 10 years ago you were a different religion. I know, but this piece of information tied me to this, and now I believe in that. You see how one could be connected. The source of information is a connector. Just like everything in this world, everything is connected. I'm going to sound just like a regular individual spiritualist. But I'm just saying that to say knowledge is acknowledgement first before it is pure knowledge. Knowledge is the completion of acknowledgement. It is to where your mind has now gained enough intellect or information just in general for you to acknowledge and know what someone is thinking or saying whenever they are speaking. That joke, ha 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 ha, is because one is acknowledged of the slick stuff, the things that people say. One is acknowledged. One has knowledge of the understanding of whatever it is that is preached to one another. Okay, Jupiter but with all that being said, full moon in Sagittarius will bring a more larger scope to matters of what you believe in. Okay, not only what you believe in, but I would say a transcendence of logic. Okay, see, logic and imagination is sort of sort of 50-50 with the existence of humans, life, everything. Okay, it goes 50-50. All right, logic and imagination. See, Jupiter is abundant because it knows. Masculinity is the source of Mars. All right, Jupiter has masculine energy too. So does Gemini. This is the force soul of what you think and what you know, outplaying into the cosmos, outplaying into the world, into the real world, outplaying on social media. These kids games, these these walk to the parks and then have the mics. That's all Sagittarius. That's all Gemini. Okay, the third and the ninth house of the zodiac system. All right, with full moon being in Sagittarius, it will be that as in there is a new constructive way of what your mother knows, what your family knows, what your emotion can understand. There's a new tailored transcendence of how you feel. Maybe it's time to back up a little bit, think a little bit, and maybe just, okay, how can I go about these thoughts and what I know more constructively? All right. How can I bring them about more loudly? How can I make what I know make sense, more knowledgeable for for the rest of the world to think what is important in my mind. Okay, what is important in my thoughts. Okay, will of what I know, will it change people? Will it change my environment of what I know? Will it give me any type of ideal strengths? Because remember, Gemini is your ideas, but it's not only that, it's your idealistic mind traits, your ideals in general. Okay, you can go back and forth with thousands of people around you, this and that, and you can keep something tailored that is normally your ideal, what is normally your belief. The only way a belief system, an idea kind of gets changed is if your idea, someone else's idea, prospectively, is thought out more fluently and make more sense concretely. Meaning more so, if somebody could think about what they say and prove more evidence of what they know, then that's when an idea normally gets changed. Nevertheless, that's when nobody really think this could be differently because I want it to. But more so, that's when a whole idea changes. Is if someone with the same amount of knowledge in whatever debate, whatever whatever challenge, whatever subject that one is talking about. That's the only way somebody's natural. Okay, I believe this now, because if they have more information than what you thought, or not even just that, but if they have more sense of a belief, then that's the only way one's change of thought or thinking can be constructed into a new connection or a new pathway. Moon in Sagittarius has that capacity to want to consume all that knowledge, to understand, to go through the storms, to go through large amount of hate, to go through large amount of stress, to go through large amount of anything, just so they can bear the understandings of meaning of anything. Okay? Moon in Sagittarius kind of wants to be subjectively not just inspirational, but Moon in Sagittarius wants to negate negativity. What do I mean by that? What do I mean? What do I mean by that? Meaning, your thoughts is the only thing, what you think is the only thing that could possibly hold you back. If I think I am not able to do this, I am not able to do this. I don't even believe. The belief could be stronger than what a thought can think. All right. What you may take on is what you believe, but necessarily it's not what you just believe, but it's what you think. What you think is also relative to what you believe. It's all two in the one same. Okay. Now, Sagittarius is more so active sign because it is more so the greatest amount of spectral of God's given energy just spadazzled onto this planet and giving that legendary push to each person, each native in this world that has Sagittarius placements, and put a cushion or put a push to whatever their aspiration, dreams, or sensations naturally is in this earth. Okay? It wants to give it that power that the what ifs could be disintegrated. Taking it too far necessarily in a good way, is it taking it too far, or is it breaking Is it breaking a new era of hope, hopefulness? Is it breaking a new era of of believing we can go further than what we imagine? Humans, with the thing about Mercury, and the irony about Mercury is that it's just like the belief. It's just like Jupiter. Jupiter is just like Mercury. They're connected even when they think they're not connected. To, like I told you guys a couple videos ago, in the Gemini, the Sun in Gemini transit, a thought is a manifestation, especially when it is outward. If I think something, the power to do what I please is an act of God, or the act of the universe, because I am capable of doing, or you are capable of doing whatever you think, and that is the essence of Sagittarius, going to lengths that one cannot imagine. All right, so Sun and Moon, right? When it gets in a polar opposition, it's more so exhortation of communication. That's what Sun wants to bring, and then Moon wants to kind of receive the information and the manifestation of one's communication and acknowledge that, with Moon being in Sagittarius. Okay. Moon in Sagittarius with Sun in Gemini balances the over capacity of Jupiter, the overwhelming being of or going too far over the hinges, okay, with thoughts, kind of balancing the over of, should I write a book, or should I write a 2 page, and it and the meaning of the 2 page in the book, the meaning of the 2 pages is just as meaningful as the book. Okay, it want to balance that type of thinking and manifestation in the middle. I want to cut it slack. That's what Moon does, and I mean that's what Sun does, and that's what Moon does while in these two signs. Opposition isn't necessarily bad if 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 they are coordinated around each other. All right, meaning that the Sun right now should be at 13 degrees, or is that Moon? Moon should be at 13, 15 degrees. Sun should be at like 10, 11, 9 degrees, right? So Moon is at 13, Sun is at 10. Complete opposition. It gives it that okay, that balance of mutability. All right, I'm still everywhere, but my mind is constrained, consistent of acknowledging and thinking with this sign. All right, so acknowledgement and thinking, because you can think of what to do, but you might not know what you're doing is what you know is the right thing to do. Meaning, I could, for instance, put oil in the car, and it could be the wrong hole. Did I know it was the right hole? Obviously didn't. If I put it in the wrong hole in the car. But it's that knowledge. But after that wrong, now you are not only not knowledged, you have acknowledgement. Okay, you have acknowledgement, and the two differences of acknowledgement and knowing is the same difference in Sagittarius. It's the same difference. Acknowledgement and knowledge is the same difference. Something something that, and again, you could be like third house, write a book, all this and that and this. But Jupiter is not only the belief, for it's not just that. That's why I just said, this is why everyone says it's the knowing. What is the real meaning of the book that is wrote? Did somebody just write the same thing 20 million times a different way for no reason? No. What did you gain? What's all the information that you know about the book that is written? What did you gain as everything got piled up? What is it about? What is the knowledge in this book about? And that's Sagittarius for you. Okay? It's the meaning behind what is manifested into the world. Okay? I was gonna say real world. All right, sun is the illumination, is the light bringer. Okay, so with Sun and Gemini, there may be again updates with apps, updates with anything technology. You got the iPhone update. Some Sun and Gemini brings updates on current phones. Also, Sun and Gemini also manifests new technologies that's coming out, new brands of technology, these technologies that can come out. Sun and Gemini could bring in a lot of massive phone calls, massive um, massive interrupted communication devices. Sun and Gemini wants to bring that flair of nudity. Okay, not just regular flair of nudity, but it wants to exist in the limelight of being able to conquer knowledge. That's why I said in a couple other videos, it's like having a computer or a laptop and having all these tabs open, but knowing what each tab is about, of what you are connected to in each moment of whatever you're doing. Okay. Sagittarius wants to have that expansion of what what I bring out into the light of the world. How did I receive it? In a sense, this is going to bring a new abundant ideal. Okay. How of me acquiring all this information, how is this going to make me more so constructive into idolization? Because if we idolize as humans what we know. Okay, this is kind of like that second house, the realism. Sagittarius is real too. It may be, it may have conflicted, broadcasted, blunt meaning, but ninth house is masculine, it's alive, it is well and breathing too. Okay, believing, seeing, same difference. Okay, because you could see something and exaggerate it. Exaggeration is Sagittarius, it's ninth house. Okay, because it gets that context of a long story, of a long situation or a big situation that has happened. It overtakes that whole thing, breaks it into one, the whole big story, breaking it down and putting it into regular terms. Okay, so you could say that Sun and Gemini wants to experience thoughts and manifest them out, and Sagittarius kind of wants to um breed them, breed your thoughts into the reality, breed your acknowledgments of what's the good luck? What's the good luck part about yourself? What's the good luck? What's the good luck? What is lucky about your lifestyle? What is influential? What is what is impactful of your type of lifestyle that you live? Sagittarius wants to make sure whatever you think and believe coexists all the time, because what you believe is what you normally stand on. Just like second house, Taurus, what your value is, what you consider a value, what you consider you believe, those are the natural principles of yourself. Just like first house, just like second house, and just like ninth house. Moon wants to not only just receive that information and know it, it wants to breed it into illumination of the real world. All right. Sagittarius doesn't want to be undermined because it knows too. It knows a lot. It knows practically everything. All right. Even knows about the aliens. I'm just kidding. Just leave that out. But no, I'm not kidding at all. But all right, but Moon in Sagittarius is just, especially a full moon, is just basically the enlightenment of what you personally been believing in could come out into actuality. Okay? Whatever you've been working so hard on this month, um, whatever you been constructive about this month, it takes it and it brightens it bigger. And it makes it to more so what you experience, or what you thought you experienced, it didn't go out for no reason. Or it works for a reason. Or it didn't work for a reason. Okay. Moon in Sagittarius wants to have that existence of knowing what I did and keeping it flexible, as far as being more abundant, being more louder with it. Maybe you did something wrong. Being more louder about your wrongs because you know why you did it wrong. Maybe you did something completely right. Being louder about your rights because you know why you did the right. Same difference, but knowing is not the same difference than thinking. So, um, this is my light video of I just did this on a whim. I just wanted to kind of like just throw out a video, and I think this was like the perfect time. I don't know why. It just told me to do it, but this is Moon in Sagittarius opposite full Moon in Sagittarius opposite Sun transit in Gemini. Stay tuned for my next video tonight. I think if I drop one, it should be on Taurus, but if not, I'll do another. I actually think about what I'm gonna say next video if I do another full moon in Sagittarius, Sun in transit Gemini. Okay, I love you guys. Peace.